Hey folks, welcome back, or welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the very first time if you're brand new here, and thank you so much for joining me today for our pick a card reading on what's the reality of your situation, the illusion versus the truth. So if there's been a situation kind of plaguing your mind recently, and you really want to pierce through the veil and understand, well, what's the core truth of everything going on here, then this is the perfect reading for you. So today we are picking with both cards and objects. Specifically, for some reason in my intuition, I was really drawn to use old perfume samples of mine as the objects to pick with. So as I always advise, let's go with our intuition and we'll pick cards that way. So calling on Spirit to guide us to the right cards for each pile. Thank you. Okay, a bit of a sloppy draw there. Let's see what comes out prominently. Well, this one for sure, for pile 1. This one for pile number 2. I'm already getting a sense of which perfume goes with which card. Okay, for sure. I know. So for pile number 1, I'm feeling drawn to the perfume called Invitation to the Moon. For pile number 2, your perfume choice today is called Aeria. And for pile number 3, your perfume choice today is called Among the Pines. So quick refresher, pile 1 is called Invitation to the Moon. Pile 2 is Aeria. And pile 3 is Among the Pines. Though, as I always say, you're welcome to pause right here on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide what pile you were most drawn to. If you're new to pick a card readings and you're not quite sure, well, how do I decide that? I like to guide us all through what I call a meditative moment. So close your eyes and take a deep, cleansing breath and imagine drawing light into your lungs as you do so. Then hold it for just a few moments. And then when you breathe back out again and open your eyes, where are they drawn most first? What feels right in your gut, down in your intuition, we call it. And that is the pile I recommend you choose. But whatever your method, you can drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment beneath the reading. Find the timestamp for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about the truth versus the illusion of the situation on your mind. See you in your reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome to your pick a card reading about the truth versus illusion of the situation on your mind. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to Invitation to the Moon as your perfume sample object of choice today. So let's put that right up here, actually towards the upper corner. And first we're going to reveal what your pile leader was. So flipping over the Pastoral Tarot, you received the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is often about having control over things. It's often about having drive. Taming chaos is another really good phrase to use with the Chariot. As you see, this man is running away from a very kind of scary looking storm on the prairie. Don't want to be out in the prairie during the middle of a thunderstorm. You don't want to be the tallest thing when a thunderstorm is nearby, right? So he's driving the horses as fast as he can home. There's even a little bit of chaos here with the dust under their hooves, as well as the birds flying away towards the light that is left as the darkness and the storm encroaches. So I think part of what I'm seeing here intuitively, pile 1, with your situation is because this card represents you in this reading. I think you're kind of like that person on the hay bale cart or wagon. You're trying to run away from something. You're trying to, what's another phrase I want to use? You're trying to escape some sort of chaos, or you're trying to kind of get something under control. And I think that's part of what has been plaguing your thoughts is, well, how do I get this under control? Or what's the truth behind, the way that I'm supposed to go about this? Things aren't what they exactly seem, hence why maybe you clicked on this reading of, well, what's the actual truth versus the illusion here? So let's keep this in mind as we go forward. So first we're going to start the reading with the first half, which is what's the illusion here, and then we'll talk about the truth, okay? So first up with the illusion, let's draw the tarot cards and oracle cards for that section of the reading. Okay. So 3 tarot. And let's draw the tea leaves next. The illusion. What seems like is going on, okay? So we have 2 that just flipped over. We're going to take those. And the last deck here is the Dream Oracle. Okay, and that is it. Okay, so let's reveal those cards first, pile 1. So actually, let's just look at your tea leaves, because spoiler alert, they already kind of flipped over by themselves. We have Vulture, depression, anxiety, and worry that someone is against you. So I almost wonder, pile 1, if that's part of what feels like is going on, like the storm I talked about with the Chariot, like the thing you're running away from. You're like kind of depressed or you're kind of anxious. There's a lot of worry on your mind about, I don't know, someone might be against me that I, like, maybe you can't tell, and that's part of why you clicked on this reading. You're like, I don't know, are they actually against me, or am I just seeing things? And then we also have Horseshoe, which is good luck. Interesting card to get for the illusion part of the reading. I'm going to hold off on explaining that one just because I want to see what other cards pop out that might explain it more intuitively. Next up from the Dream Oracle, you received regret. Maybe you trusted someone and you regret trusting them, or you're asking yourself, well, should I have trusted them? Was that stupid of me? I don't know. What do I do? Kind of that sort of anxious worrying. Okay. Oh, that is going on, especially with good luck. I wonder if that's what the good luck of the Horseshoe is related to, pile 1. It's like you thought it was lucky that you met this person or started working with this person, or however you're like interacting with them in the situation. But then you're starting to realize, oh, maybe I regret that. Maybe this wasn't the best idea. Maybe there's a lot more chaos to them or the situation than I thought. And now, should I run away like this man on the wagon away from the storm? Okay. Let's look at the tarot cards. Then we have the Six of Pentacles. Okay, equal distribution of wealth, fairness. Charity is another really good word to use with the Six of Pentacles. We also have 2 figures here with one in the middle who is dispersing income to them, or should at least be equally, because it is the upright Six of Pentacles. So I think it's like trying to make sure things are fair, or it's like it seems like things are trying to be made fair, but maybe you have a little bit of an inkling like this isn't quite fair, because we're still on the illusion part of the reading, right? And then we have, okay, yeah, the Ten of Swords reversed. And what that means, pile 1, is we were brought to the end of something, or we at least feel like it's the end of something, because, like I said, this is the illusion part. We feel like we've been defeated. We feel like we've been stabbed in the back. That's another really good, I mean, for obvious reasons, meaning of the Ten of Swords, right? Laying down with 10 swords in his back, and we feel like we're just completely done. However, the Ten of Swords reversed has a little bit of a asterisk here, where it means we already got to that point of feeling really done, and now, are we ready to really move on? Are we done with this final chapter? We're picking up the pieces again. And we also have the imagery of the storm coming back once more. It's kind of hanging over the yellow and the golden feeling of this man laying on the ground, just like we have the storm here in the Chariot. So storms are kind of a recurring synchronicity type of symbolism for you for some reason, pile 1. We'll see where that comes in. And then, yeah, okay, we have the Five of Wands reversed. Combativeness, competitiveness, okay. Battle of egos is another really good word I like to use with the Five of Wands, and especially being reversed, it's pretty negative, okay. So I'm going to tell you this, pile number 1. The illusion of what's going on is, just to summarize everything so far, is you think that there's something you should be running away from. You feel like this man on the wagon. I gotta get away from the storm. I feel vulnerable here. This ain't good for me, right? You feel like at first it was kind of a good idea to get involved with this person or the situation, but now you're starting to regret. Like, you thought it was good luck, and then now you're like, oh, I don't know. I feel like things are against me, or this person is against me. And especially with the tarot cards that popped out, a lot of it is surrounding, you know, like on the surface, it seems like at first things were kind of fair with that Six of Pentacles, and then maybe you felt like, well, maybe they're kind of over this, or the situation is over stabbing me in the back or making me feel bad, right, with that Ten of Swords reversed, and then at the end, maybe you realized, this kind of seems like there's still a competition there. There's still an unfairness, or people being, like, fighting, and maybe this person is against me, or this whole situation is against me, okay? And that's probably why you clicked on this reading, pile 1. You're probably like, what's the truth? So let's get into the truth. Short and sweet. Let's draw the cards for that side of the reading. So what's the truth of this situation, Spirit? What's the truth of what's going on? Oh boy, we're going to get to the juicy details. Okay. And then we'll grab another tea leaf. Or two, maybe. Sometimes more than one pops out. What is the truth? Well, that's a good sign. You have candle. You will be shown the way. All right. You're trying to get away from something that feels dangerous or vulnerable. Actually, you're being shown or led the way out of that chaos. So that is a really good note right off the bat, pile number 1. Okay. You're not alone. I think that almost kind of feels like divine aid kind of vibes to me. Be it angels, spirit guides, ancestors, whoever you connect with most. What's the truth of this illusion? Okay, let's look at these other cards. I'm excited to see that Lantern Oracle. So let's first pop out... Well, let's look at the Lantern Oracle, actually, yeah. We have number 11, Metamorphosis. Power and strength lie within our surrender to change. Okay, so there's some element here of metamorphosis that's part of the truth. Something about surrendering to change. Very interesting. We'll see what context the tarot cards give with that. I'm very rabidly curious here, pile number 1. So the truth is we have the 9 of Cups reversed. Okay, emotional dissatisfaction in some way is how I would possibly read that. Sometimes it's like the wish is not granted card. Let's keep looking. We have the 3 of Cups, which is upright, actually, is a positive social situation or a positive social group. Positive celebration is another word to use. You know, I wonder, pile 1, if it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. Let's see, and then we have, but we have the Devil. Okay, I love how I said that and then the Devil popped out. Now, don't run away from the reading. I know that looks scary because I pulled out the Devil and I went, but... pile 1, the truth of the situation is, okay, so you, like I said, we had the regret around getting involved or with this person. You thought it was fair and things kind of are becoming a little bit, trouble feels like it's rearing its head, right? You're going to be shown a safe way out of this, okay? I will reassure you that. Your spirit guides and divine team are around you to help you away from whatever is going on here, okay? That's what the candle means. Things are going to change. We do see that because of the Metamorphosis card here, and I'll just repeat. It says, power and strength lie within our surrender to change. So if there's any piece of advice you walk away from this reading with, pile number 1, it's do not be afraid to change your plan. Do not be afraid to change yourself. Don't be afraid to change the situation at hand where you have control, of course. Sometimes things are out of our control and we completely understand that, but that's another thing that I forgot to mention with the Chariot. The Chariot can actually mean you do have the reins, because look at it. He's holding the reins on the horses. He does have control over getting away and getting home. So there is a way you can get out of whatever's going on here. Now, the truth of everything is something that's fueling this is an emotional dissatisfaction or a wish that was delayed. So I think I want to say, pile 1, whatever you're wishing for, and I want to say this because I'm an honest tarot reader, I'll say it as it comes up. Whatever you're wishing for in this situation is not coming to fruition. I'm sorry to inform you, okay? So I think if you were hoping that this would turn out better than it's supposed to, or that this person would turn out better than they're supposed to, I'm not seeing that with the 9 of Cups reversed. I think there's also some element of a group here or a social situation. Sometimes the 3 of Cups can indicate there's something to do with a friend group that's involved, or like a workplace group that's involved, or something happened at a party of some sort. That can also be another meaning of the 3 of Cups. And the Devil is all about the things that hold us back and bind us. Like we see Adam and Eve here, I believe, or at least a representation of them chained to the pillar that the Devil is sitting on, hence why I sometimes call it like the jail cell card. We're caught up in vice, we're caught up in sin, we're caught up and stuck in something that is holding us back. Not always a positive thing, at least most of the time with the Devil, it's not a good thing. So I'm going to tell you this, pile number 1. If you had suspicions that maybe there's something not so well going on here, I believe you are 100% correct. I believe your intuition was telling you the right thing. Okay, so follow your intuition if that is the case. But please know that spirit guides are saying you have the power to move away from this. You have the power, the control to change, and you will be shown the way. Now, the last thing I want to hand off to you is kind of a tool to walk away from this reading with, is I want to ask, how will you be shown the way, so that you have a greater understanding of where to look for a way away from what's going on here, okay? Let's grab another tarot card. Can I get some clarification on the how they'll be shown the way, Spirit? Thank you. How will they be shown the way? Oopsie. Excuse me. We have the Page of Cups reversed, which can sometimes mean it's not a surprise. Okay, you won't be surprised. Or sometimes, of course, the court cards can represent people. And a Page of Cups reversed, pile 1, is usually someone that is either kind of youthful or they're kind of emotionally immature. They're not quite sure how to kind of quantify their emotions, or maybe they're not so controlled and restrained with their emotions. Maybe they're overly emotional. So I almost wonder if there's someone in your life, which sounds weird, pile 1, because normally, like, we wouldn't go to advice for someone that's kind of emotionally immature, or, like, you know, maybe, I mean, younger people can have good advice, right? But usually we would go to, like, someone around our age or a little bit older, especially with serious situations, right? But I think they're going to show you the way. They're going to show you, just like the candle. They're going to be that guiding light out of that storm, okay? So keep an eye out for that. And like I said, the Page of Cups reversed can represent it's not a surprise. So I think a lot of you might already be kind of recognizing who this person is. Also, they might be a water sign, because the Cups suit is water in tarot. So look out for someone with a water sign. I think they might be a part of this social group, actually, that or they were at this social event that's involved in the truth of everything going on. And I think they might be the one that tells you the full truth behind everything. And they're like, okay, well, wait a minute. And I think maybe it is through their emotional immaturity. Because maybe sometimes they, like, I mean, people with higher emotional, like, maturity would not want to tell you something that might be negative. But it's like, I mean, not always. Sometimes the truth is always good to tell as well. But in this case, it's like out of their emotional immaturity that they mention it to you. So just brace yourself that it might not come in the most eloquent package when they try to help you out of this. But it is something from the universe that's going to help be that guiding light. And don't be afraid to change. Once again, I'll emphasize with the Metamorphosis card. Power and strength lie within our surrender to change. And I think also that maybe you feel kind of trapped in some way, or like the truth of it is like a feeling of being trapped, like with the devil, because I do see, even in your Metamorphosis card here, I'll pick her up again, wrapped in thorns, just like we talked about how like the devil is a gel cell card, okay? That's what's going to free you. So listen to that person when it comes along, even if it's not, as I said, in the most eloquent or emotionally mature of packages, but you know, so don't necessarily shy away from it just because it wasn't worded the best way. Follow it. Follow that advice, and that will help you through and make you get through just fine with everything. It'll make you come out unscathed of what's going on, okay? So, listen to that person. All right? Don't be afraid to change course. You have control over where this is going. You'll be just fine. So, that was your reading for today about the truth versus the illusion of your situation, pile 1. I hope it was helpful, and I hope most of all that you liked it and it resonated. And if so, please like the video itself. Please comment down below your story, as well as please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you haven't done so yet. As I always say, that's just a tiny button click away for you, which helps me immeasurably with the dream of this channel being kept alive to provide spiritual healing to the world, as well as providing more free readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome to your pick a card reading about the reality of your situation, the illusion versus the truth. And of course, as you recall, we were drawn to Aeria as your perfume. Very gorgeous scent. So we'll put that up here at the very top. And of course, let's reveal your pile leader. And in this particular reading, pile 2, it represents who you are in the situation that you're thinking of. So we receive the Knight of Swords. Okay, so the Knight of Swords, pile 2, is all about someone who takes action with the element of air. And the element of air in tarot represents things done with logic, things done with intelligence, things done with stellar communication in mind. Okay, sometimes it can represent someone that's taking action towards an intelligent pursuit, say like education, or it could also represent someone that's taking action in a like kind of a logical way, like trying to think of like almost like you would with a chessboard. How do I plan this out strategically? It can also represent things happening very quickly, as, at least in my interpretation, the Knight of Swords tends to be the fastest of the 4 knights of the court cards in tarot. Okay, so I think the situation is you're trying to figure out how to logically take action with something, and I think you're trying to do it quickly, is what I'm hearing from everything that I have explained, as well as my own intuition mixed in. So let's get more context on that, though. We're going to begin the reading with the illusion side of things, how it seems. Okay, and then we'll move to the truth of it towards the end. So let's draw the cards for that part of the reading. So Spirit, if you could tell me, what's the illusion of the situation? How does it seem to them? What seems like it's going on? Okay, this one for sure says pick me. Then we've got tarot. Oopsie, there goes the other deck. Or other card, I should say. Okay, we've got the Page of Swords. Look at all these swords, man, pile 2. I don't know if maybe you're an air sign, potentially, so we'll talk about that in a moment. And then let's cut the deck and get the other 2. Beautiful. And last but not least, we have an oracle deck to draw. Oops, there goes my pen down here. Okay. And let's unveil the cards together, pile 2. So, first up, looking at your tea leaf, you received Pale. Time to get out of a situation. Well, no wonder why you want something done quickly. No wonder why you have that speed of the Knight of Swords. You're like, man, I gotta get out of here. It's almost kind of feeling like being in a flooding basement and knowing I either gotta, like, maybe at first you tried to bucket out the water, so to speak, metaphorically, and now you're like, I just gotta get out of here. It feels like I need to leave, okay? So I do see a sense of urgency, especially because of that Knight of Swords, and now we have Pale, which is like, oh, I need to get out of here, right? And then let's look at your Dream Ritual Oracle. You received Remember. Interesting. Remembering something. I'm going to talk about that more in a moment once we get the context of the other tarot cards, because sometimes when a card seems kind of unclear at first, you look at the tarot cards and you're like, oh, okay, that gives me more context. So, of course, as you recall, the first one that popped out was the Page of Swords. So speaking of intellectual pursuits, pile 2. Page of Swords is all about exploring air, just like how the Knight takes action towards air pursuits, so intelligence and logic and strategy and communicating well. The Page of Swords especially is someone that does that. They're an explorer. They're just kind of getting their feet wet with something, too, because they tend to represent a youthful energy as the youngest card in the court cards of tarot, okay? So, yeah, I don't know, some of you maybe are going for education, or you're considering going for education, or maybe you have already and you're like, I don't know. It maybe kind of feels like things aren't going super well. Maybe you got into a program and you're like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right to me, or it's like something is worse than you thought it would be than when you first got into it. Oh my god, look at all these swords, pile 2. And now we have the Queen of Swords. All right, so for sure, I swear to God, you have to have like a lot of air sign placements in your chart, or at least most of you do watching this. Queen of Swords is the feminine energy meets, well, air again. I won't explain too much what air means, because now you know, because I've repeated it twice with those 2 cards. And the Queen of Swords specifically, if you had to apply it to a person like you would, the page being a youthful energy. Well, a queen is feminine, right? A queen is also someone who figures out things logically internally. It's more internally focused. It's also soft power regarding air, which tends to be more on the communication side. Can also represent a person that is a feminine energy that is very eloquent, very good at talking, okay, quick of tongue, witty, intelligent, smart. And then we have the Devil reversed. We need to free ourselves from something, or we're trying to, or it seems like we are. So pile 2, I almost wonder if there's some pursuit you're going after where, like I said, not to repeat it too much, you are trying to speed through it, or you're trying to take action in the most logical way possible. You're like, I think I know this is the direction I want to go. I think this is where I need to go, because you feel like things are drowning you. I wonder if, for some of you where this is education, maybe you're realizing that like the program that you're in is a little bit like too intense or too heavy, or just, it doesn't fit quite right with what you originally intended or what you thought you had in mind when you signed up for it. Same thing too, it's like, you remember it, and this is why I said we'll come back to remember later. it's like you remember the beginning of like when you got into the situation, that it seemed a lot different than it was like it's turning out to be. Or like maybe you had a bit of like nostalgia goggles with this at some point too. Like you're like, oh well, I tried it before, and in which case if it is like an educational program, maybe you were at this college or this school before and it worked out with like a different degree or certification, and now it's just like, oh, this one is kind of crap compared, or like insert adjective here, whatever you want to use. But there's an element of it like you look back more fondly on it than you should, or it's like there's some nostalgia goggles here with remember. It's like, oh, but I remember it being this, or it's like someone told you that it would be the best way to go, and like you have nostalgia goggles for that person, and you're like, well, they wouldn't tell me wrong, but it's just not turning out the way that you expected. So it's like on the surface you're really, really thinking deeply, and I say that because you have so many dang swords pile too. Swords cards everywhere means, your brain must be exploding with how much you're trying to think this through. Probably a lot of anxiety as well, I'm hearing. That can pop up with a lot of swords cards. And even too with the Page of Swords in the very beginning, looking to the left, and this is how I read even directions with tarot cards. The left to me means looking to the past. So very interestingly, he is looking at remember. So it's like, well, you tried to explore it, you were using like your memories of the past to get through it, and then boom, the Queen of Swords came out, and you're like, well, wait a minute. What does this really mean for my future? Is this really the right path to take? Is this really what it seems to me? And now you're kind of feeling like, I feel like I need to get out of here. That's what that pale means too. I got to get out of a situation. The devil means the same thing reversed. It's about, I call it the jail cell cards. Reversed, it's like, I need to get out of this trap. I need to get out of whatever this is. Okay, so I can see your anxiety here, pile too. You're like, I don't know. This isn't what I thought it would be. So very, very confusing. I can understand. At least, like, if I were in your situation, I'd be really confused. I'm like, what the heck do I do? Like, I don't know. I gotta get out of Dodge. Okay, that's another kind of phrase that's coming to mind. Okay, so let's look at the truth of the situation, though. All right, we're gonna draw pretty similar cards for the truth of the situation. We're gonna ask Spirit, though, to unveil what's really going on here. Are you over worrying for no reason? Are you right and it's something you should leave? Or even so, maybe it could be as simple as just advice on what path to take, pile number 2, okay? So, grab your Lantern Oracle as well. Oopsie, I did not shuffle that very well. I was trying to shuffle it on screen so you'd see me shuffling, but did not have as much room here, so we'll shuffle it off screen. There we go. What's the truth, pile 2? What's going on here? And of course we have our handy dandy tarot cards. Oh my lord. That is a lot of cards. Holy crap. Unfortunately, I can't take all those cards here with this reading, so I'm going to do one more shuffle. But look at that, pile number 2. You even got the Knight of Swords again here in that everything that fell out. So I do read that sometimes even the way that the deck falls out as a piece of intuition. That looked like utter chaos, didn't it? So that's kind of the energy that keeps popping through. So we'll try that again here. It's like, I don't know if you got overloaded with a bunch of information that you didn't have before. And you're like, oh my god, maybe that's why you've been thinking so much. You're like, I can't process all of this as fast as I am supposed to. Or it's like needing to take action with like a lot faster than you're ready to. Something along those lines. Okay, let's look at the tea leaf first. We have Haystack, Karma. You will reap what you have sown. Interesting card. You will reap what you've sown. Now that can be a good or a bad thing. Let's keep looking at the cards. So looking at your Lantern Oracle, we have Wisdom in play, number 3. It says, our intuition knows more than we do. And we have a blindfolded figure here. Almost kind of looks elven with her pointed ears. Kind of even reminds me of the Temperance card with pouring the glasses together. She doesn't even need to look to know that she's pouring it right. Our intuition knows more than we do. Okay, so you know what I'm going to tell you right off the bat? I didn't even look at the tarot cards yet, pile 2. Your intuition is right. Whatever you feel is right or correct in your gut, that is the truth. I want to give you that, but let's look at the tarot cards. So we have the Nine of Cups. Okay, that's actually kind of a positive card to get because that tends to mean wishes fulfilled or being emotionally fulfilled with something. You can see he's kind of smug. He's got his arms crossed. He's like, I got all my cups in a row. Everything's great, right? And then we have the Seven of Wands reversed, feeling like we're being overwhelmed with everything attacking our defenses. Okay, so being overwhelmed. I wonder if that plays into, like you were saying before, maybe it's, or we were saying before, I should say, like things are like there's too much information coming at you all at once, or it's like it's hard to parse through everything. Like even you could see these wands as competing ideas or competing directions that you might want to go and you're just not sure. That too, where there's a lot of that chaos and that confusion, just complete overwhelm. And for those of you that it is like an educated related thing, or education, I should say, I think that is a sign that maybe you will get overwhelmed. Follow your gut most of all, though. That's what the intuition or wisdom in play card says. And then we finally have a different kind of court card, at least in terms of like elements. We have the Queen of Cups, and you know what she says, pile number 2, and I'm sorry it's repetitive, but I'm just going to say it. She says exactly the same thing as the Lantern Oracle does. Follow your gut. A Queen of Cups is the feminine power meeting water. Okay, so she's in tune with her emotions. She's in tune with her heart, and she follows her heart. She knows exactly what she feels deep down, and she trusts that her heart is telling her right. Okay, so pile number 2. I understand that this might be kind of confusing because the truth here, a lot of it is Spirit saying the truth is within yourself. You already know this answer. You already know in your gut. I think pile 2, a lot of you already kind of have an inkling what the truth is. And if you do have an inkling of what the truth is, that is your answer. Your gut is not leading you wrong. Most of the time, your intuition is right? There is a little bit of, a little side advice or pieces here. You will reap what you have sown with the haystack. Okay. I do see, because of the combination of that with the Nine of Cups being wishes fulfilled and like emotional fulfillment, there is something good coming out of this. Okay, so if you think everything is going to turn out bad, it's not. You are going to get a wish fulfilled. You will reap what you have sown. However, caveat, monkey's paw, there's something not 100% great about it. That your intuition is giving you a little warning sign and saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe we need to follow our heart a little bit more. So technically there's satisfaction in this route. You're going to get a wish granted, and I think the reason why there's that caveat is because of that Seven of Wands reversed. Being overwhelmed. Okay, so I don't know if a lot of you are getting really burnt out. Maybe that's why you feel like I need to bail out of here with the Pale card that popped up in the illusion side of the reading. Okay. You're like, I don't know, I can't handle this, I need to get out. That's exactly what the Seven of Wands reversed, at least to me, speaks of, is I have all of these 6 different wands fighting at me. I'm alone, and I'm on the high ground. And upright, he's defending them himself just fine, but you got it reversed, which means those other forces might win, okay? So little bit of a pro and con to this. If you feel it is worth it to reap what you've sown, the hard work that you put in, and there is a wish that you want granted, I would recommend still going with this path as you have been, at least a little bit, but don't be afraid to follow your intuition where you feel drawn to maybe change things a little bit or tweak. Okay? In the end, what does your heart tell you? That's what the Queen of Cups is advising you. What does your heart say? What does your intuition and your gut say? Okay? So, that is the truth of the situation versus the illusion pile number 2. I hope, of course, as I always say at the end of our readings, that you liked the reading, number 2, that you resonated with you and it helped you, most of all. And if so, please like the video. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you haven't done so yet. As I always say, that is my little spiel to you about just a tiny button click away for you just to subscribe, which helps me immeasurably to keep the dream of the channel alive, providing spiritual healing to the world, as well as providing free readings for both you and others in the future. And as we say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, Pile 2, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome to your pick a card reading today about the truth of the situation at hand. What is the illusion versus what is the reality? And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the perfume of Among the Pines. And of course, I'm totally not biased for the perfume you picked today for no reason whatsoever. So we'll put Among the Pines up here at the very top next to the foliage. And let's reveal the pile leader you were drawn to, the actual card. Now, when I actually drew this, I asked Spirit, pick a card that represents pile 3 in this situation. And you received, oh boy, we have the 8 of Cups. And now specifically we have imagery from, I believe this is the Dust Bowl. So a time in America where there were basically major crop failures. So you see we have a farmer here. He had a farm, he had a well, everything was going great. He even has like an orchard or foliage or some sort of crop in the background that was growing at one point, and now everything is dead. So he's moving on, and that is a perfect encapsulation of what the 8 of Cups represents, pile 3. It means I need to emotionally move on because where I'm at is no longer fertile for my goals. So I'm hearing about the situation on your mind that you've been worrying about, I think, is that you really want to emotionally move on, or you're considering emotionally moving on from something that you thought was going to go well. Maybe you're still kind of in that confusion of, well, is it going well and I'm just kind of overreacting? Or maybe you already kind of know, this isn't the best place for me or the best person for me or situation in general, and you're kind of wondering, well, am I seeing this clearly? Okay, and am I seeing the path out of this clearly? So let's grab some other cards to see more about everything going on with context. So first we're going to talk about the actual illusion. So what does it seem like on the surface? And then towards the end of the reading we'll see and ask Spirit, what is the truth? So illusion first. Let's grab your tea leaf oracle card and your tarot cards for that side. Spirit, what's the illusion? What does it look like on the surface? Thank you. Okay, that one for sure. And then last but not least, we'll draw your tarot cards. And I'm actually just going to take this one. Typically lately I've been cutting the deck, but those were quite prominent, so we'll take them. All right, pile number 3. Let's see what is going on. Look at your tea leaf first. You have Spear, heartache over what you no longer have. And how fitting for a card that represents the Dust Bowl. He had the farm, he had verdant crops, he had water, and now it is desolate. Now he's thinking, I need to move on from this place that no longer supports the dream or the wishes I had in mind when I got here. So definitely pile 3, I can tell something's been kind of ouchy lately, just to kind of put it in maybe a lighter hearted way, right? You're having heartache over something. You're wanting to move away from something. You're like, I don't know. I don't have this any longer. Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was a job that you had to leave behind or were let go from. You know, maybe it was a actual literal living place or home situation or house, apartment, etc. Kind of like we see here in the actual art of the 8 of Cups with this particular deck. Something along those lines. And I don't know, I can just tell based on these cards, this has been really emotionally draining on you, pile number 3. So Spirit is recognizing that with these cards. Then from the Dream Ritual Oracle, interesting, pile 1 had this as well. We have regret. So unfortunately, I guess regret is kind of a common, communal message with our community today. So my heart goes out to all of you that are going through times of regret. That's never fun. And specifically for you, pile 3, regret, I think, is over having thought that this was a good idea or having thought that this was a good place or person. And now you just feel like, well, what was the point? I just regret it. Okay. It looks like regret on the surface. Now, looking at your tarot cards that kind of just came flying out quite prominently, we have The Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so things started out okay. Maybe that's where some of the regret comes from, is I feel like a fool. I feel like I was betrayed or tricked in some way. A Queen of Pentacles actually can represent a person. So a feminine person, either that is an earth sign. So like Virgo, of course, is the only one that pops to mind right away. Taurus, and let's see, what is the other earth sign? Oh God, people in the comments are gonna they're gonna make fun of me. For some reason it's fleeing from my mind. Or earth sign. I'm thinking Virgo and Taurus, and I can't remember the other one. Excuse me. Feel free to weigh down in the comments if you remember. I'm just blanking right now. We have, so Queen of Pentacles could be someone of those signs, right? It can also represent internal security with money and with finances and things like that. She has everything she needs. She's very secure in what she has. All right. So it seemed okay at first. Everything was verdant, but then the second card that popped out, we kind of saw earlier, was the Five of Wands reversed. I think pile 1 also got this too, so I guess maybe negative group dynamics is kind of a communal theme today too. And the Five of Wands reversed represents, we have people fighting here. They have their wands, they're trying to win a battle of ego, a battle of wills. A little bit lighthearted, it's not necessarily the most harsh of conflicts, right? But reversed, it's, this is getting a little bit serious. This is a bit harder than I thought it was going to be. So maybe, say it was a relationship that you were in that you had to leave, or you're considering leaving, maybe, is part of what's going on here with the Eight of Cups. Like, at first everything seemed great, and then now you're starting to regret things. There's the heartache, and you're like, maybe I'm not getting along with this person as much as I thought I did, and of course that can be romantic or platonic, pile 3. That can mean, a friend, a family member. It can mean a literal, romantic relationship. Either way, it's like egos are getting in the way, and now it started kind of seeming like it was getting kind of serious in terms of conflict, and you're like, I don't know, that shook up the security of the Queen of Pentacles. And then last but not least, okay, we have the Seven of Cups reversed. Very, very, very fitting for this type of reading, because that's exactly what this card means, pile 3. It's about what is truth, what is reality, versus what is an illusion or a fantasy. So this is the card of realizing, well, what is the truth? What is the right path to take? What path, would have led me to a dragon versus what path would have led me to treasure and glory. So at least on the surface with what's going on, it's like you finally woke up from a dream and now you're like, oh, that is the path I should take. This was the reality. I felt like I was stuck in illusion or a fantasy before. And I think that's also part of why you have this major regret or this heartache, is because it's that feeling of I was a fool. I think that's really coming forward, pile number 3, okay? Or if not a feeling like, oh, I was a fool, it was like maybe you thought, oh, I should have seen the signs coming. I should have seen this coming. Like, why didn't I think of this? You're like, there's all this regret, and, it was going so well at first, and then boom. Then we had this conflict, egos getting in the way, and of course, yes, illusions were, at least seemingly, because we're still in the illusion part, or what it seems like on the surface part of the reading, illusions were unveiled, and now you're here at this Eight of Cups in this Dust Bowl. Like, I need to move on. Okay, so let's see the truth of the situation, pile number 3. All right. What is the truth of this situation? And maybe while I'm drawing these cards, I'll finally remember what the third earth sign is in astrology. Oops. I always remember Virgo and Taurus, because I have Virgos and Taurus in my life, but all right. What is the truth of the situation? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the third one. Usually I'm pretty good about astrological signs, pile 3, but that's okay. You know what? You'll get a good laugh out of it. You'll be like, I can't believe you forgot the third one. Okay. I guess my brain isn't 100% functional today. Okay. Let's grab these cards. What's the truth of the situation? Let's unveil things, pile 3. So the truth of the situation, are you ready? We have the Cat, a two-faced friend. Okay, so I will tell you right off the bat, pile number 3, if the situation you've been worrying about and thinking you want to emotionally move on from has involved a person, this is a card confirming that the truth is that someone is being two-faced in this situation. I'm Sorry to report based on the card that came out here, okay? So we have a two-faced friend. Not so good, right? Okay, let's see what else pops out. I'm going to draw your Lantern Oracle first. We have number 5, Knowing the Unknown. And it's literally called The Unknown is the card. She is facing a gateway. She's facing, kind of seems like the end of one world into the next. It makes me think of new chapters and closing old ones. Okay, so I do want to say I believe that things really are coming to an end because of that imagery of it being like a gateway into something new. Okay, and knowing the unknown is an interesting phrase because it's like understanding something subconsciously that you don't technically know on the surface. It seems unknown to you, but really deep down, a deeper layer of yourself understands the truth behind the situation. Okay, knowing the unknown. Also, I'm hearing a message too about even if you don't know every single detail of the truth, it's kind of like, well, does it really matter if you know every single piece of the truth? Because deep down inside, you already kind of know, I want to move on from whatever this is, or I had to move on from whatever this is, or in the process, maybe you're in moving on from it, okay? Let's see your other cards. Okay, we have the Fool reversed. Pile 3, what this means is you tried a new adventure. You were trying something new, but unfortunately it was a risk. The Fool reversed is someone acting, well, like a fool, which, you know, we all do from time to time, so I don't say that as in like a harsh thing, pile number 3. It just means that, you know, we were really optimistic, we were really happy. I mean, you look at the Fool upright, kind of reflects that yellow and the Queen of Pentacles, right? Very happy, we're secure, everything's great, we're on a new adventure. Reversed, maybe we didn't also calculate all the risks that we should have. Okay. Also, I find it interesting that he is going on an adventure just like the man in the 8 of Cups is here with the first card that popped out. So, yes, if you were wondering if, like, you're considering if, like, whether or not this was a good idea, the Fool reverse tends to indicate that no, it's not. It tends to indicate, like I said, someone acting foolishly or someone having taken a risk that they should have, you know, they didn't see necessarily, things like that. Then we have the Ace of Wands, a new spark of something, a new passion, a new creativity coming to fruition, especially seemingly given to you by the heavens, like the hand popping out of the clouds here. Now, that's an interesting facet of this truth pile, number 3. So that can be, if you're looking for the truth as to why, like, say someone did something, that can mean, like, they had a new passion of some sort that wasn't directed necessarily in your direction. And for some reason, I'm really drawn back to that 5 of Wands earlier. We had the different wands that were combating with each other and fighting. It's almost like, to me, a reflection back to that card or a callback. Because, I mean, not only is the same suit with wands, but there's something intuitive popping up. I'm going to ask a message one moment. Really odd pile number 3, and I don't know if this will resonate with every single one of you. They're saying something about a candle and the edge of something. Oh, this is really weird. I don't know if, like, you had a candle fall off the ledge of something recently. Some of you. I don't know why I'm hearing that specifically. I want to say it was like a yellow or a green candle. And it was involved in this situation, and it was like a sign at the time of like a thought that you had that was the truth, or it was like a synchronicity of trying to point out something to you. It was like something that fell off a ledge that was either a candle or like looked like a candle of some sort. Like some cylindrical kind of circular object like that. Okay. Well, it's interesting too, because the Ace of Wands does represent like a spark. Like we think of a candle being lit, right? Yeah, let's look at the last card to get the context, and then, now we have the King of Pentacles reversed, which you had the Queen of Pentacles upright at the beginning, right? Pile number 3. So I want to say the truth is yes. If you are considering moving away from something, it is a good idea too, because like we said, you know, someone might be two-faced here, or the situation might be two-faced. Like, and even if it isn't related to a person, say it was like a job that you had to leave, or, you know, some other situation like that, it's like it wasn't done for the best of reasons. It was done kind of in a either betrayal way, or it was done in a way that was two-faced, okay? You know, someone was kind of acting foolish, or someone and when I said that before too, pile 3, I should have mentioned that earlier, is like, someone acting foolish with the Fool reverse doesn't necessarily mean that that was you acting foolish. I mean, it could have been too, right? But it's like someone was on a new adventure and they just weren't looking at the risks, and, they went forward with this Ace of Wands. Oh, I have this new idea, this new passion, or sometimes that can mean passion in terms of ambition. It can mean passion in terms of love interest, things like that. And the King of Pentacles reversed at the end is quite a nail in the coffin, I want to say. And I don't like delivering bad news, pile number 3, but especially because you had Queen upright at the beginning, that tends to mean that, yes, the truth of the situation is that it's financially unstable, or it was someone. A King of Pentacles reversed can mean like a businessman who made a decision in a negative way financially, okay, or is not good with his finances. It can also mean in general, like, especially being masculine energy, it's finances or security in the external way, with like action taken, or in terms of either protecting money or not protecting money, authority with money, ideas like that. So could represent maybe a boss that got you fired or something like that. And the reason, if that's the case for you, pile number 3, the reason they did it was because they were taking a foolish risk, and they were following like a new spark, even though it wasn't necessarily the wisest thing to do, to let you go or to fire you, etc., things like that. Or same thing with this is a relationship, say a romantic one, pile 3. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think, like, if someone left you or like a relationship turned bad, I don't think, like, if these cards represent them, I don't think you're really going to miss much. I'm sorry to say, like, I mean, if these cards represent that person, they weren't really the best for you in the first place anyway, okay? Same thing with if it's a workplace. That ain't a good workplace right there, okay? So your intuition is right, pile 3. I want to say that you were right to leave. You were right to be let go, in terms of not the fun of, say it was a job you were let go from. That's never fun, and it wasn't like right in the way that it was a good thing to do to you, but it's right in the way of you dodged a bullet in the end anyways, okay? And in general, the situation at hand, okay? So, yep, someone's being quite unwise with money, following new ambitions, or quite unwise with things going on with their passions. And, yeah, it's not going to turn out very well. So the truth of it is that, pile number 3. All right, so I hope, even though that might not have been exactly what you wanted to hear, I hope that at least it kind of helped you, pile number 3. That's, always kind of the double-edged sword of truth versus illusion type readings like this, is sometimes the truth isn't always the most positive thing. But even though it might be negative news, it doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't help, right? Or maybe even you kind of saw it already and you just wanted clarity on, like, am I thinking of this in the right way? And so if that does match pile 3, you are thinking of it in the right way. So anyways, feel free to make fun of me down in the comments down below for not remembering the 3rd earth sign. For some reason, it's just eluding me. I'm trying to think of it. For some reason, it's just not in my head. I don't know why. So anyways, laughs aside, I hope the reading helped you. I hope, of course, most of all, that you liked it and it resonated. So please like the video, comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so yet. That just always... Oh, you know what? I should know the 3rd earth sign. You want to know why? Because it's my moon sign, Capricorn. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I figured it out. I think, yeah, Capricorn is earth, right? I know it's the opposite of air, which is my sun, which is Gemini. So, Capricorn. Anyways, if I'm still wrong, correct me in the comments down below. Anyways, I'll stop rambling. You have a great rest of your day, pile number 3, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.